Hello, everyone. Jose J. Garcia, real estate investor, coach, and mentor here. So we got the Sunday coaching series continues. We got extensions. We're going to talk about extensions on mobile homes, what you can't do inside of parks, ways to go around it, and things you should be focused on. Also, things you should be aware of when you're thinking about adding on to whether it's a single wide or double wide. So we are also live on Instagram. So we got that going on as well. No Facebook yet. All right, let's see. Couple more people just joined in. Let me make sure. Got some good news. I love me some good news from a student who's actually on the call. Awesome. That's always good stuff. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to share my screen with y'all here and show you an extra extension that was done on a double wide. And again, things to watch out for, things that you need to keep in mind when you are doing such, and we'll just kind of get into. Any questions, drop them on the comment section there, or raise your hand, simply unmute yourself, and you're welcome to speak up. This is what we're here. So reminder of these calls, because I do have some announcements, some new calls that we've been talking on for a while, and they're starting next week. So I'm actually very excited about. Those are a little more laid back and little things to hear about. So, okay, any questions? I'm going to get them here in a few minutes, but all right, let's get started. So when you think of additions in a single wide, in a double wide, in a mobile home period, there's some things that you need to think of immediately before you get started. Before you try to start planning out how big you want this room or rooms or whatever it is that you're trying to add on to. And this can actually even go for fences. It can go for fences. It can go for any addition that you're trying to do. Okay, if you own the land, you can do whatever you want to do. Now, of course, you still have to keep in mind the city rule, regulations, builders department, etc., that you may want to check in with prior to, or yes, if you do add on something to the mobile home and they do not approve of, it can mean you have to take it back off. So you don't want to deal with that. Okay. So you still want to check on that. But this call is going to refer to a little bit more of the something that would be inside of a community park, inside of a mobile home park. Now, when you get the rule regulations, when you first get into the park, which you should have a copy of, because it's one of the first things that you should ask is to the park owner or park manager, let me review your rules and regulations. So why should you ask for rule regulations? Along with so many things that are going on now, I would say that even not just a good deal, how much it may take to invest in the actual mobile home itself, I would say that certain rule and regulations can mean make or break kind of deal in a sense. If you got a park that allows no pets, and that's something that we're actually dealing with right now with a few parks, I'm not against it, but it does mean a little bit of limitation. I don't want to say that everybody that lives in a mobile home park owns a pet, but it seems that way. However, so when you start getting into this whole selling them back on the market, put them, whether it's a rental, rent to own, finance, sell, whatever it may be, you could be limiting yourself as to who you can sell to, because if somebody's not approved because of their pets, that is disqualifying you from being able to make the sale. Okay, so again, rules and regulations are very important, and yes, read it. Do not just get a set of rule and regulations. I've asked investors, well, did you get a set of rule and regulations? Yes. Well, what did it say on the pet side, or what did it say? Oh, I didn't really look into that. Okay, that's no different than not getting one. So make sure that you made yourself very aware as to what it is going on. And also keep in mind that yes, from time to time, it could mean that rule and regulations may change just a little bit. If a park sells, for instance, new owners come in, you better believe there's probably a whole new set of rule regulations that are going to come into place as well. So you want to get accustomed to those and or at least know what it's in there that you may be looking at changes, for instance. Okay. But I assure you, there will have a section on there that'll talk about fences, add-ons, extensions, et cetera, et cetera. You want to know what it says on there. Now, keep in mind, we're talking about mobile home parks. Mobile home parks, for the most part, they have small pads, right? Meaning a very small section where the mobile home sits, whether it's a single wide or double wide. And then right next door to it, you got another mobile home and another one behind it and another one in front of it, et cetera. It depends on how the park is set up. So if, certain parks, I've seen them where they're so crammed, they definitely did a good job in maximizing the park. But I mean, you can almost reach and touch the next mobile home and the next one. So you couldn't even have room for additions on anyway. But on most parks that we invest on, especially in Georgia, central Georgia, you do have room for. If you want to add an addition, I would say immediately reach out to your park manager and a park owner. Even if it says something on the, even if you don't see it on the rule regulations, I would ask. Again, ask before you start spending money, investing in such, because if they do not approve of it, they could come in and say you have to remove this, that you have an expense both ways. That's not going to work out for you. I've seen some weird rules on this where a park may allow you to add an extra addition to it or even a storage unit, but it may means that they're charging more for the lot. Then again, you have to check with them. You know, you don't own the land in the park. You never will unless you buy the park. You know, there's certain rules and regulations that we all have to buy for. So that's all I'm pushing for on this. But additions are a great source of additional income for sure. Let's talk about ROIs in that sense. Let's say you have a single wide 2-bedroom, 1 bath, or 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Okay, you know the market numbers, or you should. You do the math on that and see what you can get on your return, your ROIs, right? Well, what if you could add just one more room to it? Could you add an extra $50, maybe $75 every month, right? Possibly, because now you're talking about the most desirable mobile home, which is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, whether it's a single wide or double wide. Okay, so if you do add that additional room to it, it could mean a great investment for you in the end, right? But again, it's all about starting with that first, getting approved for. So make sure I cannot stress that enough, because I've seen that all too often. Investors, well, maybe they won't care. That was their initial comment. Maybe they won't care. Well, they did care, and it had to be torn down. So that was an expense that was not allocated surely to come in and do that. So double wides, you know, a lot of people, when they add an extension to a double wide, I more so see it as a storage per se. I don't think I've seen many people who had an extra room for. I mean, you can, a room is a room, right? But a double wide, for the most part, will always have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Then from there, you start seeing 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 4-bedroom, 3-bath kind of thing. You can get them customized from their point and get bigger, whatever it may be. But for the most part, you got a 3-2. So if you do add an addition, keep in mind too, a double wide is double a single wide put together. So you already got a pretty big size mobile home anyway. Do you really want to come in and add an extension like what we're showing you? This is an example. Maybe worth it, may not. It just depends what you're trying to do. But again, also treat the same thing with a storage unit. You know, they sell the little storage houses. You can buy at Lowe's, Home Depot, any home improvement store. Some places just sell them outright, bring them out to you. That could also mean that you could put it beside the house. But again, it could mean extra lot rent. It could mean many things. Okay, so you want to start with that. I will start checking questions here in a second. I think we got a few comments dropping on here. Okay, good stuff. So all in all, what I'm trying to get at on this call here is, gotta bear with me. You know, I'll tell you what, I've been traveling. It seems like here lately, every Thursday, I don't know how that came about, but every Thursday I've been traveling. And of course I take my laptop with me, right? I don't know what I did, if I pinched it or I threw my bag on the seat too hard, but it's done something to my laptop. So now it kind of glitches on me. I know I have to get a new one and save all my files, but we'll work on that. So that's, if you see me a little slow, that's what's happening. Too much information. All in all, extensions are great. I think they are awesome. They're a great investment. I've seen mobile homes sell for a lot more when you add that additional 3rd room. And again, if you do have your own land, you can be talking about a whole new set of rules. So definitely check with your city. Start with the courthouse. Reach out to your buildings department and ask them what can or cannot be done. Permits inspections needed to add an addition. It depends. You know, mobile homes are very low key still, even so. But do keep in mind that if you're closer to the city, the closer you get to the bigger cities, the more they start getting right side by side with real estate. We had one double wide in Ackworth, Georgia, and all that was being done, there was no extensions being done. There was nothing crazy. It was actually not even so much of a rehab, but more so kind of put together kind of mobile homes. One of those where we come in and just do minor things, get in and out kind of thing. But where it was located, however, again, we're close in the city now. You have people driving around, looking at houses, that sort of thing. The house, they happened to drive by it and they seen a contractor doing a few things in there. So they went in and questioned them. Do you have a permit? Do you have inspection to be working on this mobile home? He tried to explain, of course, look, we're doing minor little things. You're kind of just putting it together, painting some walls. They didn't want to hear such. Shut down immediately, right on the spot, meaning you can no longer do any more work until you go and visit the city and pay, because that's what it means. Go and pay some funds so that you can get a permanent inspection and therefore you can continue. Well, that's what happens. That was the very first home I've seen that on a mobile home. Now, when you're out there in the more rural area, kind of in the countryside, do they really care if you're putting some of these things on? Not really, low key. But again, check. Better safe than sorry. So, but yes, on the most part, when you are adding an extra room, because keep in mind, let's say you're detitling, and we're getting into a whole different conversation now. If you have a piece of land and a mobile home that's detitled, or you're detitling, meaning you're converting it from a personal property to a real estate piece of property, and you add an add-on to it, if it is an additional room, you want to get that permitted and inspected anyway so that it can go on the tax records. It was originally a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, but now with my addition, now it is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It can also add value. So see, there's a lot of pluses to this, doing things right overall. Any questions? Get to my controls here. All right. So we got, yep. Yes, it's getting cold out. All right. I know this is a quick call. Extensions. Get with me if you have more questions on it. This is one of those things where it's not a flat answer to you all. I cannot tell you, yes, this is approved, no, and it's approved, because you're not only talking about city, county, and state. You're talking about now different parks. One thing that may be allowed in this park here in this area may not be next door. See what I'm saying? So you're very limited as to that. You have to do your due diligence in each one accordingly. And that means the park and that means the city. So it's one of those kind of things. But definitely email me. Y'all got my email, j@garciamhu.com, if you have additional questions on that. So let me go ahead and advertise on here. And while I'm doing so, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them on the comment box there. So we've been talking about the webinar for Saturday mornings. So we've come up with the 10 a.m., 10 in the morning, Saturday mornings, where it's going to be something similar to what we do on here, but it's going to be a little more laid back. We'll have guest speakers coming on there. We'll probably even talk real estate from time to time on there as well. And it's just a networking platform where we can come in and be around like-minded people, right? So coffee and mobile home investing with Jay Garcia, 10 a.m. every Saturday morning until we decide to do something different. For now, for those of you a while, Sunday coaching series started out as a 4-week, I think, trial, then move on to an 8-week. And I think we've been having it for about 5 months now. So, and there's no sight in stopping it. So as long as you keep bringing those questions on and topics y'all want me to discuss, I will keep having these calls on for you. So, and again, if you do miss these calls, make sure you catch it on the replay, which is placed on our YouTube tomorrow morning. Okay. But yeah, next Saturday, 10 a.m. Come on our call. It will be blasted throughout the week on social media. It'll have the Zoom credentials. If anybody does not get that, send us your email and we'll be sure to give you that as well. One call we haven't had on here on a while, along with Q&As, which are back. Q&As are back-to-back fire, question, answer, right? Quick, move along. Who wants to be coached live on here? We had a couple people doing them. I think it was a pretty good for everybody, some of the questions that were asked. So if anybody wants to be coached on here live, yes, no cost, of course, it's part of the call. It is here for educational purposes only. Send me an email. Send us an email on your name, obviously your email, maybe a phone number, and a topic that you want to discuss. Okay, anything you want to discuss, I'll be happy to bring it on here. Remember, a lot of people are new on these calls, and many times you may not even know a question to ask simply because you're too new to mobile home investing. So the more other people ask, the more other people are being able to feed off those answers and get their investing started. So 2 good things on there. Definitely the Zoom on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and the coaching live on here. So let me know on that. Along with that, we have the webinar that's starting out. It'll be either Wednesday or Thursday at 7 or 8 p.m. Still working on that. That could be as early as next week. We'll advertise on that, but we're thinking first week of December before we get started on that. Now, that's going to be an hour and a half call where that is a very direct coaching. These calls here are similar, but they're very pressured, very rushed. We're moving along. A lot of people don't learn very good that way. You're rushing, you're moving, you're going, and a lot of people have a lot of questions to ask. So we want those questions answered along with. Now, a lot of people send me questions after the fact through an email. You can ask them on here. Help other people again by asking the questions, and that's fine. A lot of those questions, we'll put them on the Q&A like I mentioned, so we will be able to answer them. But stay tuned for that webinar coming along. As y'all know and are aware, most of you that are on here, the shadow ended last week, 2 weeks ago, and we'll pick back up at the end of January. So for now, we have a gap between now and then to put a lot of things together, to get a lot of things of these webinars, Zooms. It is cold outside. I won't say no to that. It is cold out. So I'm sure walking through in and out of a mobile home right now wouldn't be so fun, but that's just part of it as well. The first call for next Saturday, I'm going to be talking about my very first investment. I'm trying to pull up pictures to show y'all. My very first investment was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath single wide that I single-handedly rehabbed because I was early introduced to contractors who don't want to work apparently. I didn't know that. I learned very quickly. So I was out there hammering nails in winter time. It is what it is. I got it done. But it taught me a lot, and that's kind of what I want to break it down, because a lot of people are still shying away from, I don't know this, I don't know that, I like this or that. I had no resources, no connections, no education, no money, and I got it done. So can you. And we're going to talk about that. So definitely stay tuned for that. Any questions before we go? No questions. Okay. Well, Tuesday, don't forget, let's do deals on Tuesday at 7 p.m. We do have some new deals to introduce to you all. If you all have a deal that you think you can bring it on here, let us know. We'll, of course, share the floor with you and let you pitch a deal. That's another thing that we're trying to grow at this time. It cannot just be our deals. You know, this is a platform for all of us mobile home investors to connect and network. So even if you think you have a deal, bring it on here. Let's break it down. That's something I'm going to work on, breaking deals a little bit more just for y'all to understand. But if you bring that one deal that you may have questions on, that's going to help out everybody. So that being said, I don't see any questions on here. I will go ahead and end Instagram and Zoom. Thank y'all for joining me. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you Tuesday evening.